This is a video for the May prompt of the Talking Maths in Public Animation Generation Collaboration, and this month's prompt is to create an animation showing a visual proof of Pythagoras' theorem. I'm going to do this in PowerPoint. It turns out it was actually incredibly easy to do in PowerPoint, very straightforward. So the animation I'm going to create starts off with a right-angled triangle with sides labelled A and B and C, the longest side being C. 4 copies of this triangle then move to fit inside a square of side length A plus B, and then the area of that square that isn't taken up by the triangles forms 2 squares, one of area A squared and one of area B squared. The triangles then move again into a different orientation, still fitting inside the same square, and the unused area of the square now is C squared. So that shows that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. I guess this is a demonstration of Pythagoras' theorem rather than a proof, really, but it'll do. And you can do it backwards as well, so that it can go back to how it was and then go back to the 4 triangles piled up and labelled A, B and C. So to create this animation, I didn't use any of the PowerPoint animation tools at all. I did it all using the morph slide transition. And what that will do is, if you have an object with the same name or of the same type on 2 slides, but they're in different places, then when you transition between the 2 slides, it will move from the first place to the second place. So all you have to do is create your objects and put them in the positions that you want them to finish up on each slide, and then the morph transition will really do all the work for you. So I'm going to start with a square. This is a rectangle, obviously, but I will make it into a square by changing the height and width. We'll make it a 6, 8, 10 triangle. So I want the big square that's size A plus B, so that will be 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres. I'm going to centre that in the screen. You may not have this bright slide toolbar on your PowerPoint. This is actually a set of tools that I installed, which is really helpful for lining things up and making things neat. I will put a link to it in the description. It's a free add-in that you can just install in PowerPoint. So there's my square. I now want 4 triangles as well, 4 right-angled triangles. Let's put those in. And these I want to have a height of 8 centimetres and a width of 6 centimetres, and I want 4 copies of them. Let's just give them a nice colour. I'll colour that blue. I'll colour the square red, and then I can copy the triangle 4 times, and let's put them in the right place. So I'll rotate that. Should have rotated it left. Let's have it there. It should line up with the square. That one can go there, and that one can go there. Okay, so then I want to copy the slide, so I'm going to duplicate the slide. So that's now got another slide with exactly the same objects on, and then I want to move my triangles into the second position where I want them. So let's move that one down there, move that one across there, and move that one up there. And then if I preview that slideshow, they should all move into place. That's really all there is to it. Everything else now is just labelling and prettying it up. So I'm going to create another duplicate slide and so for this first slide, I want all my triangles in a pile in the centre, so I'm going to get rid of the square. I'm going to move each of the triangles into the centre. In fact, I want them all the same way around as well, so let's do that. Go and then stick them all in the centre. And then I will put some labels on, so that's a text box. I'll press out equals to get the equation editor, and then I can type in my label there. So let's make that the longest one of the shorter edges A, the shorter one B, and the hypotenuse C. And now if I copy these labels as well onto my other slides, then they will be moved as well. So that one is A, that one's B, that one's C. In fact, I shouldn't have copied on them yet because I want those labels to be in exactly the same place, because that bottom left triangle isn't going to move. And then let's label this area of the squares. One of the nice things about the equation editor in PowerPoint and Word is that you can just type in the LaTeX and then press space and it will do a lot of the formatting for you. I used to find it really clunky and horrible to use until I found that out. It still has its problems, but it's a lot easier when you don't have to go up to the toolbar for every little thing. And I think that should be basically it. Let's rerun the slideshow. Our 4 triangles turn into a square with the 2 areas labelled, and then they turn into a different square with the 1 area labelled. And that's a demonstration of Pythagoras in PowerPoint.